Tam Talks explores life, spirituality, and general weirdness through quirky storytelling and laughter, lighting you up in your life journey. Let's go! Oh, hey everybody. Thanks for listening. Tamiah here. I'm going to recall a story. This is about just feeling energy and feeling different vibes in different places. And one of probably my favorite place on the planet, other than my home, is Maui, which also feels like home to me in Hawaii. And we went there in 2024, my boys and I, and one of my greatest friends and her two kids. We met down there. We live in different provinces, so we flew down, met each other, and one of the days, actually there were two, I forgot about this. There were two kind of incidences where I picked up on some cool energy. So the first, I'll do it in chronological order because I was intending on the second one. But anyways, we took a ferry over to Lanai, which is another island just across the channel from Maui. And we had this amazing tour guide, Alberta. And it was like a private tour. Oh, she was so fantastic. Look her up if you ever need a tour guide of Lanai. And she's been on the land like generations upon generations. Her family has lived there. So we went to this one part where there was this beautiful beach and you could see Maui. I'm pretty sure it was on that side where we could see Maui. And so we're all just kind of walked along the beach, and she had her dogs. And there was a point of the beach where there was like this pathway that led off of the beach. So I kind of walked up there because I could see there was one of those historical plaques. So I thought, I'll just make my way up there and see, like read about it and see. So on the way, as I'm walking up there, I'm feeling this like weird energy, and like I don't want to say evil, but dark might be a good word for it. I just didn't feel good. It just felt gross and dark. I'm just going to say it. And evil. It just didn't feel good. And so I kept walking towards that, like the post or whatever, the historical plaque thing. And I was like, I don't think I want to read what's on that plaque, because I know there's something that's not good that is about that plaque that's back that way. So anyways, I don't even know if I read the plaque. But I remember that Alberta told us about some inhabitants of the island from many years previously that I think there might still be. I don't know. I can't remember if there were still people of that I don't know, grouping of people who live there. But anyways, I'm pretty sure they were cannibals, and like pretty terrifying hearing some of the stuff. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that explains that weird kind of nauseous feeling. So anyways, that was that experience. So we went on, like, for the rest, just explored the rest of the island. I only had that feeling in that part. But I remember afterwards, my younger son was like really moody and grumpy, like really out of character, moody, grumpy. And the next day I thought to myself, I'm like, I wonder if he picked up some of that energy. So I just did, like, I sent him white light, I cleared his energy, I used Reiki, I did all my things, and it seemed to help. But I remember even saying that to him, and I remember saying it to my older son, like, I wonder, guys. I wonder, because I had this really dark feeling and we learned a little bit about that. I wonder if there was some energy that grabbed on. So anyways, he's fine. He's cleared. But the other experience that we had, it was on Maui, and they had petroglyphs. That's what they're called, right? Yes, petroglyphs. Unlike hieroglyphics, petroglyphs. But I think hieroglyphs are the drawings, and the petroglyphs are I don't know what the difference is. Whatever. Something to Google. If you know, feel free to correct me, comment, whatever. It's all good. Basically, when ancient civilizations drew pictures on rocks, that's what I'm talking about. So my friend and I were like, oh yeah, there's ones right near where they were staying in like this glamping, I think that's what it's called, like this kind of campground, but it was like these cool tents or whatever, just down, like we were staying up the road, but they were staying there, and it was right across the road from there. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of where they stayed. But basically it's in West Maui, not up as high as Honokoi or Whalers Village, but down, oh, why can't I remember the name of the place that they stayed? Anyways, it was across the road from there. There was there's like a little bakery, deli, restaurant thing, and like a pizza truck, and just cool. But anyways, so here we are in our rental cars, and we're trying to look it up on our GPS, our phones, and we're like, then we're reading like these tour reviews, and we're thinking, okay, it's just got to be back here. So we're driving our rental vehicles on these, like, I don't even know what kind of roads they were. They were like dirt roads, and we were driving towards, it seemed almost like a driveway, but we were driving behind these buildings and going towards the mountains, the volcano, whatever you want to call it, the hills. Anyway, so we're driving in, and there's kind of like people's houses, and there's tons of trees, but there's the giant, if you look up West Maui, you will see a picture of, it looks like cliffs, but I don't even know. I think they're mountains. They're pretty tall. Anyways, so we're driving around, and we're like, what is going on? It's supposed to be right here, but it's not. So we drive back finally, and we find these, we look up, and we're like, oh, there, you can kind of see like a wall of rock, like on the side of one of these giant mountain things. So we park our cars, we get out, we start walking. We're like taking pictures along the way, but we look over. So as soon as we pretty much started walking out of the car, I think it may have been, no, it was as soon as I got out of the car, I had that feeling again. And I was like, whoa, because I remember saying to my friend and to my boys, I was just like, yep, can feel the energy here. I'm like, ooh, it was this intense, again, kind of that nauseous, dizzy, just influx of weird energy. And this wasn't negative energy, but it was, I want to say, warrior energy. It was this really intense, there's the word, intense feeling. So we continued to walk closer, because we haven't even actually come upon any drawings at this point. This is just, we've gotten out of the car, we're walking. So we approach this big stone wall, and we start to see the drawings, and we're like, oh my gosh, like that, this is for real. I had never ever seen petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, whatever, in real life before. Not that I remember. Watch, my mom's going to be listening to this, and she'll be like, we went camping at Point Pele or somewhere, and we went to see, anyway, so not that I remember. Okay, this is the only one that I remember. So anyways, we walked up, and there's signs everywhere that you're not to get too close. Anyways, we had already gotten close with one before we saw the sign. But anyways, I didn't stand, I kept feeling this like nausea, but this deep reverence. And I just remember sending love and thanks to the land and the people and the culture, and just really recognizing where we were standing and what potentially had happened and how many years before this people had lived there and just, operated in whatever manner they did, right? Where you think of the day-to-day activities versus our lives now. So it was a very interesting feeling. I didn't have sadness, but like I said, I could feel this like warrior feeling, like this protective. That was what it was. I felt, and I didn't want to stay long. I'm pretty sure I don't know if I said this out loud to them or not, but I felt like we were invading, and I felt it almost got like, okay, we got to go, because I feel like we're almost disrespecting, which is absolutely not what I love Hawaiian culture. Yeah. Anyways, so we just kind of observed the images, took some photos of them, and just, that was that, and then left. It's funny because even now as I'm talking about it, this is trippy. I can feel that that feeling, like my head, it's almost like a spinny, dizzy, but it's just an energy feeling. Like I don't feel sick. It's just like, it's a reminder. But anyways, so we left and went on with the rest of our day. But yeah, the energy in Hawaii is pretty phenomenal. And actually, I'll tell you another story. The first time I went to Hawaii was in 2014. I took my mom when she retired from work. I took her. She had always wanted to go to Hawaii, so that was a surprise that, yeah, I did. Anyways, and it was just her and I, and that was the first time I'd ever left my boys. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And we went for 10 days, and we spent 3 days on the Big Island in a little village called the Volcano Village, which is just around the corner from Kilauea. And that was fabulous. We stayed at this place called the Rainforest Retreat. Oh my word. It was this little oasis, this, I think it was like a hexagon shape building, hut, room. And it was all glass around the sides and the top. So, and you're in the middle of the rainforest. We had an outdoor shower, an outdoor soaking tub. The only thing that you couldn't see would be our bathroom, and we had it was incredible. So we stayed there for 2 nights, and soon as the plane landed, so this was my first time ever in Hawaii on any island. Actually, we had stopped over, I lie. We had landed in Honolulu, and then we had to take a short flight from Honolulu to the Big Island, to Hilo. And then we picked up our rental car. But from when I got off of the plane in Hilo and we were driving to Volcano, I was vibrating. My whole body. And again, this was 11 years ago. And I wouldn't say I was not deeply into my spiritual journey. I had always, like I said, been alert and aware of some things, but I wasn't like digging. I wasn't meditating regularly. I wasn't like crazy into stuff. But my whole body was vibrating. I was like, what? And I felt like I was walking on a rocky boat. So I thought, oh, maybe this is, what's it called? Maybe this is jet lag, because that was the longest flight I had ever been on. I think it was like 10 hours. We did have a plane change in Texas, and then again, like I said, in Honolulu. But anyways, I didn't know what it was. That feeling did not stop for the whole time, the 3 days we were on the Big Island. And I remember we went for a hike at Kilauea Iki, which is this crater on the other side. So there's like the crater volcano, and then on the other side of it, there's lava tubes. And it used to be, actually, I think when it has erupted. I don't know if it flows that way through. Interesting. I got to look that up because I know it's erupted, I think, twice since we've been there. Anyway, so there's this hike called Kilauea Iki, and oh my gosh, my mom's such a champ. So she was retired. So she was 65. And we went on this hike. I think it was 7K. And we're talking like you hike down and the little trails going down are switchbacks. And then you come across this lava field. So to come back. So if you picture it, it's like an out and back, but going down, you're on these trails until you get to the bottom. And then it looks like just a crater. And it's a bunch of lava with the odd little green plant sprouting up. But other than that, it's just bare. And so we walked, and then on the way, the whole time we were walking on this land, I kept saying to my mom, I'm like, I just want to lay down. Like, I just want to lay on this, on my back. And there's lava underneath it, or if it flows, it goes underneath it. So I don't know anyways, I just felt this need. And you can see, so when you're hiking, so it was like the out and back, like I said. So when you go to the far end, if you were to climb straight up over that ledge, that would be where Kilauea is, the crater volcano, which is like an active volcano. So this land is all attached. So anyways, I just had this like craving to lay down on this. And anyways, I remember hiking and we ran into this family, and the woman, the mom, I think there were 2 kids or 3 kids, their husband and wife, and the husband was military, but they were stopped for some reason. And of course I was like, are you guys all right? And she was like feeling faint and stuff. So I remember we stopped and like gave them water and just made sure she was okay and asked if they needed whatever. Anyways, that's just like a random memory. But so when we were continuing back, so it was right before we were about to go back up the switchbacks to finish off our hike. It was like last ditch effort. And I said to my mom, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. And I just laid down on that ground, on the hardened lava. It felt so warm, and the energy was phenomenal. My mom took a picture of me just laying there, and I'm like, Mom, this is amazing. You have to do this. She's just like, oh, no, you just enjoy. So I did. But the energy of Hawaii is, I can't even fully explain it. And then we were reading about Pele later that day when we went to the volcano inside of the visitor center. We were reading about Pele, and I got so dizzy and all like, woo! It was so cool. So anyways, the energy in Hawaii is alive and well. Oh, anyways, okay, that's enough. I could just talk about Hawaii. Maybe I should just have a podcast about Hawaii. I can break it up into like different sections. Go see this, go see that. But anyways, thanks for listening, and I'll chat with you next time. Okay, peace out. Thanks for hanging out and listening to my wild and wacky Tam Talks. Follow Tam Talks to be notified of new episodes. Peace out!